Cleopatra, a name that still causes whispers to echo through the corridors of time. But don't let her stunning eyeliner fool you. This queen knew how to use her wits as much as her beauty. Let's dive into her scandalous story, a tale of love, betrayal, and a whole lot of drama. The year was 48 BCE, and Cleopatra had just been ousted from her throne by her scheming brother, Ptolemy III. Naturally, she wasn't about to let that slide. Enter Julius Caesar, Rome's most powerful man, who just happened to be in Egypt on business. And by business, I mean trying to expand Rome's empire. Cleopatra literally had herself smuggled into Caesar's chambers inside a rolled-up carpet. Talk about making an entrance. If you thought your last first date was awkward, try explaining why you're wrapped up like a burrito. But Caesar? Oh, he was impressed. Cleopatra had everything he liked: brains, beauty, and a knack for theatrics. Soon enough, they struck up a very close alliance. Translation: they were lovers. Cleopatra's move wasn't just bold, it was genius. She knew Caesar's support was her ticket back to the throne, and she used every ounce of her charm and intellect to ensure he was on her side. Cleopatra and Julius Caesar weren't just a romantic duo, they were a power couple. Together, they restored Cleopatra to the throne, securing her position as the ruler of Egypt and stabilizing the region for both her and Rome. But their partnership wasn't all politics. Cleopatra gave birth to a son, Ptolemy XV, better known as Caesarion, which means Little Caesar. Cleopatra proudly claimed Caesar as the father, cementing her child's importance in both Egyptian and Roman history. Imagine the baby shower: golden rattles, tiny togas, and a guest list featuring the most powerful figures of the ancient world. Their relationship went beyond personal affection. It was a strategic alliance that benefited both. Cleopatra needed Caesar's military might to maintain her throne, while Caesar gained access to Egypt's vast wealth and resources. Together, they were unstoppable, at least for a time. When Caesar decided to bring Cleopatra and their son to Rome, the move caused an uproar. The Romans, already skeptical of Caesar's increasing power, were scandalized. A foreign queen, flaunting her influence in the heart of Rome? It was a step too far. Cleopatra's arrival was marked by opulence. She lived in Caesar's villa, hosted grand events, and paraded her son as Caesar's heir. To the conservative Romans, this was an affront to their values and a challenge to the traditional order. Sacré bleu, or whatever the Roman equivalent was. Despite the controversy, Cleopatra's charm and intelligence won her a few admirers in Rome, but the whispers of discontent grew louder. Caesar's political opponents accused him of being under Cleopatra's sway and even conspiring to make himself king with Cleopatra as his queen. The tension reached a boiling point in 44 BCE when Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators who feared his growing power. For Cleopatra, the assassination was a devastating blow. Not only did she lose her ally and lover, but her position in Rome was now precarious. Recognizing the danger, she acted swiftly. Cleopatra gathered her son and her entourage and fled Rome, returning to Egypt before the political chaos could engulf her. It was a smart move. Her survival instincts ensured that she would live to fight another day. Cleopatra was out of Rome faster than you can say et tu, brute. Cleopatra wasn't about to let heartbreak ruin her empire. A few years later, she set her sights on Mark Antony, Caesar's right-hand man. Antony summoned Cleopatra to meet him, and she made sure to arrive in style. Picture this: a golden barge, purple sails, and Cleopatra dressed as the goddess Aphrodite. Subtle? Not exactly. Effective? Absolutely. Antony was hooked. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen, she was an experience, and soon the two were inseparable. Their partnership wasn't just about romance, it was about power. Cleopatra needed a strong ally to secure her position and protect Egypt from Roman encroachment. Antony, in turn, was drawn to her intelligence, charisma, and the resources Egypt could provide. Their love story was less Romeo and Juliet and more The Hangover, Ancient Edition. Lavish feasts, drunken escapades, and extravagant gifts were their thing. Cleopatra even started a drinking club called the Inimitable Livers. Imagine explaining that to your financial advisor. These parties weren't just frivolous, they were a way to cement their alliance and display their power. Cleopatra and Antony reveled in their defiance of Roman norms, which only fueled the outrage back in Rome. But not everyone was thrilled about their love fest. Octavian, Caesar's heir and Antony's political rival, wasn't amused. He claimed Antony was under Cleopatra's spell and accused them of plotting to overthrow Rome. Cue the drama. Octavian's propaganda machine went into overdrive, painting Cleopatra as a manipulative seductress who had ensnared Antony with her exotic wiles. The final showdown came in 31 BCE at the Battle of Actium. Antony and Cleopatra's forces were no match for Octavian's. Legend has it that when things got dire, Cleopatra's fleet fled, and Antony followed her, abandoning the battle. Talk about loyalty or maybe bad decision-making. Some historians argue that Cleopatra's retreat was a calculated move to preserve her fleet, but the result was the same. Octavian emerged victorious. With Octavian closing in, Antony and Cleopatra's love story came to a tragic end. Antony, believing Cleopatra had died, fell on his sword. When Cleopatra found out, she decided to go out on her own terms. Her method? A poisonous asp. The image of Cleopatra calmly accepting her fate, adorned in royal attire, has become the stuff of legend. Whether it was an asp or another poison, one thing is certain. Cleopatra's death marked the end of an era. You've got to admire her flair for the dramatic. Even in death, Cleopatra made sure the world would never forget her. Her legacy endured, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and drama. Cleopatra's story is one for the ages, a queen who defied expectations, wielded power like a sword, and loved with everything she had. Was she a seductress, a strategist, or simply a woman ahead of her time? Maybe she was all three. One thing's for sure. Cleopatra knew how to leave an impression.